Hey guys, it's Eric Conover from Nerdy Geek Talk, the source for all your nerdy geeky needs, here with another new podcast because you haven't been getting enough of those lately. This is called Why So Super. Now, I was going to call it Super Saturdays, but I thought it was kind of stupid to just name it after the day when that doesn't sound that great. So, Why So Super? This is about superheroes slash supervillains. Not really a whole lot about origins or anything or explaining about the characters. It's why they're so super, or not even their powers. It's like, why are they special? Especially to me. These are mainly going to be about my specific favorite heroes, which some of them are very mainstream, some of them are very not mainstream. My very favorite superhero, you'll find out not on this episode, but my favorite superhero is not a very popular one. But nonetheless, this podcast is a shorter one, but here to explain why they're special, why they're so super, to me at least. Now, I decided to start it off with someone that would be. Okay, I wanted to start off with Venom, but Venom has a lot to him because he's a very complicated character now. He's gone through a lot, he's changed a lot. So I decided to go through. I was going to do Venom, but I'm going to do Venom at some point in this series, pretty soon probably. But I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this one, so I did the one that is easiest for me to talk about because he's probably my favorite supervillain ever. If not the top, definitely top three at least. He's probably number one. And there's nothing good about him. That's why I wouldn't put Venom, because Venom isn't exactly just a straight up villain anymore. But you know who is? Carnage. Yeah. Oh, also, this isn't my normal area because I'm traveling right now. So don't be alarmed. I'll be back in my normal area soon. Don't worry. But Carnage. So Carnage is a bad, bad dude. Now, what makes him special? Because, you might just say, he's just a red Venom. No, there's a lot more different to him. Well, just really quick, like I said, it's not about origins, but if you don't know who Carnage is, I'm surprised. But if you don't know who he is, basically, son of Venom. You should know who Venom is, the black suit that went on Spider-Man, then had several other hosts, but somewhat of a villain. Um, it had a child, had an offspring, and that symbiote bonded with, oh my god, Cletus Cassidy, right? Okay, my mind just blanked for a second. Cletus Cassidy, and became Carnage. Now, the Carnage symbiote is not just a red Venom, as some might think. There are some significant differences. So yes, he is the child of Venom, but he got new abilities that eventually Venom has been able to use in the comics. But for one, he's able to turn his limbs and stuff just into whatever he wants, whatever type of weapons, all that. Venom couldn't do that before. He kind of can now once he's a Space Knight and stuff, but the child of a symbiote, the offspring, is supposed to be more powerful. So Carnage is more powerful than Venom. Now, Carnage did have an offspring of his own at some point named Toxin, but that isn't the point of this one. Maybe Dutox at some point. There isn't a whole lot about him, though. But Carnage, why is he so special other than Red Venom, more powerful? He can turn his hands and stuff into weapons. Well, like I said, he's like one of the only villains that's just straight up evil. He doesn't really have any redeeming moments. He's just been almost pure evil because he's insane. So he's almost like, clearly he's not the counterpart. He's not like the exact same, but he's almost like the Joker in terms of like Marvel. He's their just straight up insane character. I can't think of any other Marvel character off the top of my head that I really like that is just totally just crazy, nuts, insane, literally insane. Not like, oh, that's so insane. No, he is literally insane. And that is due to the fact that he bonded with Cletus Cassidy, who, another interesting fact, unlike Venom, who has had plenty of hosts, he has no shortage of those, Carnage basically only stays with Cletus Cassidy, which is kind of interesting because he kind of died at a certain point, and Carnage kind of just cobbled together his body. Oh no, favorite one is where a doctor tried to kill Cletus Cassidy, and when the Carnage so that way he would get the Carnage symbiote. So when the Carnage symbiote showed up, it it killed the doctor and just like revived Cletus, which is just crazy. The symbiote does not like to leave Cletus. There was a time where it was like the superior Carnage, but it's complicated. Basically, Carnage only chooses Cletus. He was forced against his will for a little bit, but basically, he's bonded to that guy. Is it because they're both equally messed up? Maybe. Is it because the symbiote got messed up when it bonded to the insane person to begin with? Probably. That would be my guess. But they're both insane and much, much more violent than Venom ever has or will be. They just murder, murder, murder. There's nothing good about him. As I said, he's a kind of unique supervillain in the fact that there's no conflict within him. There's no, man, I think what I'm doing is right, or like I wish I was good or something. Like there's none of that. None of that anti-hero, none of that even doubting what he's doing. He's just an insane person that kills like crazy. Um, but another interesting thing I find about him, other than the design, he's a lot more wicked looking. And I don't mean wicked as in like wicked. I mean as in he looks cursed. He's thinner than Venom. He's lankier. His teeth always stick out more to me. He looks more savage, but not brawny, but just sick. And his suit, while red, has the black swirls throughout it too, which is just creepy, along with the eyes. The eyes are they're really misshapen. But what I particularly love about Carnage is just the design, the crazy swirls and everything, and the insanity. All of it just flows together so well. He's almost pure evil. If you had to imagine, like, just if you saw him and had no idea out of context what the heck he was, like that this is a supervillain, from all the comics and everything, you just think that was a demon running around turning its limbs into weapons and killing people sick and just screaming. Like he's just straight up evil, which is weird because you'd think that'd make him much less interesting. So I guess he doesn't have a lot of interesting stories, but I just find him really intriguing. Also, a fun fact, his suit, well, the symbiote suit, is the red with the black swirls, as I said. That makes him different from Venom because Venom's just all black, not any real swirls or anything with the white stripes and stuff. Carnage was originally planned to be multicolored. Not quite rainbow, but like tons of random colors and almost like constantly flowing and stuff. But it was too hard to illustrate, so that's why they went with the red and the black, which I'm very much okay with because I really, really love the red and the black. Um, but basically, yeah. So what makes him different from Venom and any other character? So the symbiotes, I think, are a very special type of super character because sometimes they're superheroes, sometimes they're super villain. In the fact that it's two beings in one, and one is a suit. They kind of can't live without the host. But what makes him different from other symbiotes, let alone other superheroes and villains, is that he basically sticks with one host. I don't know any other symbiote. I mean, again, he was forced against his will for a little while, but any other symbiote that sticks with just one host for the most part. Venom goes all around. Toxin even switched because his host died. Eddie Brock, then Eddie Brock doesn't have him anymore, so I don't know where Toxin is. But basically, Carnage and Cletus Cassidy is Carnage. There's no separating them. While Eddie Brock is seen as the most legitimate Venom, there's no doubt that you can make an argument there are many Venoms, including not Spider-Man isn't the character Venom, but Spider-Man even had the suit for a while. That's who Venom wanted to be with. So it's interesting that Carnage is almost definitively Cletus Cassidy. He has the new abilities that Venom eventually has kind of gotten, but he's still stronger, although Toxin is stronger than him. He is the child of Venom, which is kind of odd to get a supervillain's offspring being more of a badass villain than they are. And I mean, that's debatable because you might think Venom's cooler, but Carnage is by far sicker, more of a monster, violent, everything. So he's more of a supervillain than his own dad is. And man, I just love the name Carnage because it perfectly adds up just what the heck he is. I mean, can you think of anyone that's more savage than Carnage? I think that that's the key word is almost his name, but I'd say, Savage or something like that to describe what makes him special. He's just nobody's that bad except him. And so that's why I think his design is amazing another huge part of it. I love symbiotes, their designs, but Carnage in particular is just wow. But the thing is, why is he so super compared to other superheroes? Well, and villains, mainly villains. He doesn't have conflict. He doesn't have any conflict. And while that might make for a boring character when you look that cool and you're fighting Spider-Man on stuff all the time, maybe his character isn't as interesting as some people would like, but he's still pretty popular. Most people like him. I'm not saying that he's everyone's favorite, but most people like him quite a bit. And so that's the interesting thing, is that they've taken a character whose defining trait, which most characters to be interesting have to have, at least think they're right or have some kind of conflict. He just likes killing people. He's just totally insane. He has no excuse for any of it. I mean, obviously he's insane. It's not necessarily his fault, but he's not trying to get better. Not that he can, but you know what I mean. He's not conflicted, which is crazy. It's the opposite of Kylo Ren from Star Wars. Kylo Ren is like the most conflicted character ever. Meanwhile, Carnage, nope, nothing. He doesn't feel crap. He also fought Deadpool, so that's neat, but that also doesn't make you necessarily super enough to get on this podcast. But either way, that's me really tired explaining why Carnage is so super. So this has been episode 1. There will be further episodes on Saturdays is when they should be going up. Like I said, I'll definitely be doing one on Venom. There's a couple other characters though, so that's a kind of superhero, kind of supervillain. There's 2 other superheroes I'm thinking of, and I'm looking at a couple others that I'm not sure about. But again, this podcast isn't about their origin and necessarily their powers or anything. It's why so super, why so special almost. What makes them so super compared to everyone else? And as I said for Carnage, he's just the best at what he does. He's straight up killer, he's straight up scary, he's just literally what a demon would look like if you didn't already think of him as Carnage. So yeah, that's about it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out more of our podcasts for National Podcast Month, because I'm doing that. So have a good one, guys.